Hi guys, this is Lisha from Scarlet Moon Creations and I am back. This is me doing a recent tag, not an old one. One Deck Gone Wild. This is a community tag created, so I hear, by several tarot tubers who have, like, I don't know, a Discord or a group chat or something like that. And this tag is to focus on one deck and ask it or yourself a billion questions about it. I will list all the questions in the description. There are 37. I did not do all 37, though. Fair warning, damn near. So that was an awkward place to pause, but I realized I just went and didn't stop, and that's how we're gonna go. So I have my current tarot journal here where I wrote down all of the questions and my answers, and I'll put that on the side. The deck I'm using is the Llewellyn Tarot by Anna Marie Ferguson. This is not a new deck. My box is beat up, and I know I've said it before, but I will be doing the disheveled decks tag at some point, and this will definitely be in there. But anyway, the first question is, why did you pick this deck? It was calling to me. It was easy to grab. When I first watched a couple of videos of this tag, I did not know what all the questions were. I wasn't able to watch people's full videos at the time. I have since then done so, but the first several questions are very tarot focused. So yeah, there is another deck that has been screaming at me. So I'll do another version of this, or I'll do this again with a different deck. But yeah, the Llewellyn Tarot Companion. I've had this for a long time. It's a deck I love and also hate. It's not my favorite tarot deck, but it is probably my second most used one, if not first. But yeah, that's why I chose it. I know it pretty well, but I haven't done anything like this with this deck. Like, I've just used it. I've never done kind of getting to know you. I've never done a deck interview or anything like that. And that's kind of what this is. A very long deck interview. My favorite set of minors. First, we have the Queens. And it took me a while going through these. The minors in general are not my favorite part of this deck. But they are pretty close to Rider-Waite-Smith artwork cloning. But these queens are pretty much my favorite, I guess. They are all gorgeous. I love how the clothing and indicates their suit and elements, but also I really like, and it shows up in the other court cards, but the king and queens, their chairs all have some kind of thing that represents their suit. So it took me a while to realize this with this Queen of Wands. But there are these lions on her, I don't know if it's focusing. I can't tell. There we go. These lions on the armrests. The Queen of Cups here has the fish and like the shell stuff, but the fish. The Queen of Pentacles has a tree growing out of her chair, and the Queen of Swords has this hawk or some type of bird there. So that's why I enjoy those. However, I also, honorable mention, have the nines. Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Wands, Nine of Cups, Nine of Swords. I just almost always identify with the nines in some way, shape, or form. Particularly Rider-Waite-Smith. This Nine of Pentacles is a little bit different than the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, but otherwise, I just do. So, next prompt. What card reminds me to relax when it comes up? I really have to think about this because this is not that type of deck. Now, the Six of Cups here, it's just really calm and chill. And I didn't realize for a long time that these were kids because I had this and the Deviant Moon Tarot that I was really using, and the kids are not really looking kid-like, so it just looks like two people hanging out in their backyard garden. So this is the chill card. I guess also, where is she? The Nine of Swords, because it gets crazy in life. This is a perfect representation of me stressing out, having anxiety, not getting enough sleep because of anxiety. And when this happens, I know I need to. Do I always? Hell no. But I know I need to calm down, relax, relate, release. And I guess one other is the Moon, the Lake of Maidens in this deck. And that is because I associate this card with Blodaya, the Welsh deity. But also, this is a nice, calm scene. Sometimes nighttime is the calmest time. Just the owl flying across the lake. Nothing human happening here. So that's those. My favorite representation of the color blue has to be this Two of Pentacles. And this, again, not quite a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. The ships and the water in the background, the clouds and night sky. I love the variety of blues here. I have to say it was really hard to pick because there are a lot of cards with varying shades of blue. This is bringing that moon back. Another one. And I love the blues in here as well. But the swords in particular have a lot of blues. And there's just so much that is done well with color in this deck, which is why I really enjoy it. So this is just two examples of many for me. Prompt 5, my fave representation of the Judgment card. I think this is, when I did the 22 phase, I think this is the Judgment card out of all the decks I have that I picked. Could be wrong. I have issues with the Judgment card. The RWS, the Waite-Smith, I can't. They don't look dead to me, and I get it. It's art. She was using the tools that she had at the time. It just looks weird. They look like aliens floating in the ocean, and I don't like that image. Even after all these years, does not work for me. Paired with the word judgment, I don't like judgment. I have issues with that word. And then the context of having this giant angel calling the dead back for judgment, definitely issues. I ignore them when I do readings, but that card doesn't really come up for me, maybe because it knows I don't like it. So this one is the Sleepers, and I'm wondering how much to get into because I know this question is going to come up later. The major arcana, I'll say this for now, the major arcana and the Llewellyn Tarot are kind of renamed or double named, I should say, and they represent either certain figures or events. And in this one, this is kind of like the Arthurian legend about how he is sleeping, waiting for the people to call him back when in a time of great need. And, so his and his men's sleeping place is somewhere hidden, and people over the years have gone looking for it or whatever, but have not found it. Supposedly, the time of great need has not returned or come yet. So they're sleeping, waiting, hence the Sleepers. And I prefer that, and it fits the whole original Judgment card meeting anyway. So thank God. What did I do? Problem number 6. Card that makes me nostalgic. I have to say, quite honestly, the whole deck. Because I've had it for so long. But to pick a card, one card, I picked the Three of Pentacles. I have to... No particular card makes me think of a specific event that I'm nostalgic for. But this one makes me think about the fact that I have a small business. Towards the beginning of the business, there was a lot more time by myself making things, and not to say that doesn't happen now, but it happens a lot less, and it's kind of crazy, but also just sitting and making things kind of with my hands is a thing. So like I don't sew or anything like that, but it's just that kind of craftiness, that creativeness, and kind of being outside. I wish, but nothing I do is really conducive to this type of setting. But yeah, maybe being outside while reading instead. I can see myself in this position, being creative or reading and relaxing, and maybe this is also a relaxing card now I think about it. But yeah, and all the reds and warm tones, love it. Okay, what card shifts my perspective? Going by what I saw some other people doing, I have the Hierophant in this card, which is Taliesin, and again, there's a question later that I'll explain why these are double named, but I like similar to the Judgment card, but to a lesser extent, a much lesser extent. This is a mild dislike that I have of the Hierophant in the Wade Smith deck, and you could say I have issues with authority, just a little bit, or with older people telling how it is, and how not telling how it is, but how things are supposed to be and how you're supposed to act and what you're supposed to do and what's proper and tradition and whatnot. Legacy, whatever. Can you hear it? My issues. This one is not quite like that. It being Taliesin, who is a bard and a magician in Welsh mythology, is something different. It's a different perspective. This man crowned kings, found kings, helped heroes, was a hero himself, that kind of thing. there's still a very patriarchal thing going, but that fits. Like, it's the Hierophant, not the High Priestess. So this kind of giver of advice and help, and still being a creative and emotional being, still, like, I can see where this type of position that he kind of fell into evolved into the advisor to the king, and then like the pope and all of that stuff, the spiritual advisor and a spiritual leader and that kind of thing. But this is less structured. This is not organized religion. But this is a man who has experience and uh, can teach, can lead, can show others the way, or a way, if you will. So that shifted my perspective. Another one is the Six of Pentacles. Just the slightly different perspective, literally in the artwork, makes this less insulting of a card. I feel like the Waitsmith one, the many others, kind of focus more from the giver's perspective, and the facial expression is not always the nicest. I don't know if this guy's is the nicest either, but I do have also some issues with regards to charity. So say what you will, but this is a little bit softer in its perspective. The somehow the scales seem less calculated in this one. These people also seem a whole lot less destitute, if you will. So, those prompts 8, fave animal represented in a deck. I do have to come back to that Queen of Cups because she was doing her thing. After a while, I realized there's a lot of kind of animals that show up that I just really like the way they do. Another example, again, the owl here in the moon card. I think they're done really well. Which court card reminds me of heartbreak? Guys, I have not really gotten my heart broken very often, but thinking outside of the box, outside of romantic relationships, because I haven't got my heart broken when it comes to that, unless you count me breaking my own heart. But I think the biggest heartbreak I've had is when I lost a job that I loved. I was working with great people. I was doing something that I loved, that I felt was helpful, and so that I didn't realize it at the time, and for over a decade later, how much that affected me. The losing of the job, but also the inability to get a job for a long time afterwards. There was a lot of feeling of rejection, and nobody wants me. So, King of Pentacles is a good representation of that. Specifically, the powers that be. This could be a specific person who came into that job at a position that was created for him above my boss's boss, who had been there for decades, and then proceeded to wreck everything, not caring only about how much more money he can make off anyway. So yeah, that would be my heartbreak. It was really hard because I don't know, like, picking a court card narrowed it down, but also made it more difficult to which one fits best. So yeah, but I think this guy represents that age range, but also, you know, those people who say they're hiring but won't get back to you and all of that nonsense. Also, you know, the traditions and uh, uh, how we do things nonsense. Okay, so we're getting into some prompts that are not card specific, so I'll just show you cards from the deck here. And if I made this deck a meal, the first thing that came to mind was haggis. And that's ridiculous. This is not a Scottish deck, though there could be and probably is some overlap in, but maybe like some type of sheep stew, keeping with that theme. Okay, what is this deck's favorite book? Oh, wait, I do know that. Okay, so first up, ooh, sorry. I have this book that I'm currently making my way through. It's a relatively quick read, but not, there's exercises and stuff in it. And it's called From the Cauldron Born, Exploring Magic and Wealth of Welsh Legend and Lore by Christopher Hughes. And this is a library copy. I promise I did not do this to this book. It just, somebody else did. But this hyper focuses on Ceridwen from Welsh, her myth and Taliesin, but obviously the cauldron. So there's that. Another book I'll put on the screen here is the Mabinogion, which is the majority of Welsh mythology and lore. Fiction books I haven't read, but I feel like the covers and what little bit I've heard would kind of fit here. Not Welsh, but Pillars of the Earth. I believe that series would probably fit this book. This deck would probably love. And anything Tolkien, because there's a little bit of that sprinkled in his books. So, if I were to travel anywhere, where would I take this deck? So, Welsh sacred sites, definitely. We'd go to Wales in general. And I do and have taken this deck places with me. And 14, where does this deck want to go? The sea and orchards, definitely. I think something I would change about this deck. Okay. Let's talk about it. The minors of this deck are not like the majors. They are almost completely Waitsmith clones, whereas the majors are not. So that's annoying. I really wish that had continued, even in some small way. And because of that, the majors, I was just looking at Aron, death, right? So here's a major, if you can see, in the guidebook. There's a description on the traditional imagery and then talking about the myth that they tied to it. And the death card, it's Aron, who is like the god of the underworld, essentially. How he asked Quill to switch places with him. And then an upright and reversed, meaning with sentences and keywords. In contrast, this is all you get for the minors. Lists of keywords for upright and reversed. Half a page. That's it. You could have written more. You could have discussed what was going on. I don't know. But it annoyed me when I got it. It definitely felt lazy to me. And I've since seen much lazier things. Thank you, Insight Editions. I'm not as upset about it, but then I was. Because when I bought this deck, I did not know that the Welsh mythology was such a thing. Um, that it would go so in depth. But it does, and then at least for 22 cards. So, which card would I hang in which room of my house? Let me. First of all, the entire Major Arcana. Can I find some more here? Like, look at this. Look at that. Look at that. The Fool. Can I get him on here too? I should just. Because they are all absolutely gorgeous. There are plenty of minors I would not have a problem with doing as well. But, yeah, I would have all of the majors. Then, I've got Arian Rod, who I love. And she is the Wheel of Fortune in this. The Priestess is Caradwyn. I love these two cards. I would totally put them in my bedroom, like, blown up. Just, yeah. And then, bringing it back to that Nine of Pentacles, because I also just really love that imagery. This one I might put in my living room or my kitchen. This one might be in my kitchen, too. Just... or my office. If I had a space that was like a room just for ritual work, all 22 of the majors would be in there. Without a doubt. Something that sets this deck apart. So I mentioned that I tried to hold out, but yes. So the majors are all based on Welsh legendary figures from mythology. So Arian Rod was the Wheel of Fortune. Arian Rod's name is supposed to translate into silver wheel. And she has a cauldron that makes magic and has influence. Here we go. Justice is the Lady of the Fountain. Not one specific person. The fountains and that kind of thing are very revered and seen as maybe portals or tools of justice and vengeance and places to make wishes and that kind of thing, magical spots. And yeah, so there's a lot of Welsh myths and legends that deal with fountains and, or what do you call them, wells overflowing and like drowning people or towns and things like that. It's crazy. The magician is Gwydion, who is known as a magician, as a magic wielder in Welsh mythology. So not Taliesin, but yes, he is he kind of fills a similar role in his uncle's court, King Moth or Lord Moth. And another example, the Wild Herdsman, the Horned One. Instead of death, it's the Horned One, and I appreciate that. Again, while what the devil is, at least imagery, is kind of based off of in Welsh mythology. If this deck had one superpower, what was I doing here? I think I was shuffling. What would it be? I say transformation. There's a lot of that in Welsh mythology, so I feel like it very much fits this deck. And yeah, transforming into different animals, different people, changing your size, being invisible, all of that stuff. Purposefully and as like a trick or a prank, and also as a kind of form of vengeance or punishment. Transformation. Who would I give a copy of this deck to if I could? Janine. Who is... I don't know if she has a copy of this deck, but if she doesn't, I would totally give her one. Okay, what is this deck's biggest fear? Being forgotten is what came to mind. I thought about, shuffling and pulling a card to answer this, but I feel like that fits. I'm not 100% sure why. Maybe because it's ancient mythology. But also, this is not the world's most popular deck anymore, or right now, so... And I think the style, the borders, and all of that, not quite up to anyone's current day standards, so maybe that as well. There's also the fact that the people of Wales have made a concentrated effort to make sure that the Welsh language does not become lost. So, yeah. If this deck had its own collection, what would it collect? Followers? Like, people wanting to be like this deck. To do or know Welsh magic and the mysteries. Paintings also. I love this artwork, by the way. Watercolor is my thing. Paintings, I think it would collect. And maybe rare coins. Okay, draw 3 random cards. Bed, wed, behead, or fuck, marry, kill. And for that, so I did this beforehand so it wouldn't happen. The 3 cards I got were Lady of the Fountain, Justice, the 7 of Cups, and the 6 of Wands. So I could just be like bed, wed, behead, but I wasn't thinking about it like that. And I like what I saw some other people doing in response to this question is like picking which one. So, because I definitely do not want... Bed, wed, behead? I mean, this could be a positive card, though. If I'm betting, I'm wedding Justice, the Lady of the Fountain. And... I don't know. Should I switch? Or no, I'll keep it like this. The 6, I will bed the 6 of Wands. This guy is... I think maybe might be a little full of himself. Wed Justice and behead the 7 of Cups. I don't feel too bad about it. What is this deck's signature scent? And I picked black pepper essential oil. Guys, that is, it's fruity. It's not like orange and lemon, but it's kind of berryish, but not overpowering. And it's the black pepper fruit, so I'm assuming. But yeah, like, you wouldn't think. It's a little dark. I think like black currants or something. Are black currants a thing? I'm not sure. Who is this deck's father? So I say obviously the Rider-Waite-Smith. But let me go back a bit. I think if we're talking about decks in specific, but in general, I had picked the Empress. I picked Caradwyn as the mother of the deck. Like, if there's a card in here that is the mother, it is Caradwyn. And that may seem like Oh my goodness. I'm looking and she's over here, right? The priestess. And maybe you would think, oh, the empress, but no, not for me. Who did I picked a whole family, okay? For the father, I had picked Taliesin, if I can find him. This is where we get to the part like, well, how do I now cards are overlapping in the prompts. That's what it is. Here's Taliesin as the father and the mother. I did put down for the sisters, I picked Gladioth, who's represented by the Lake of Maidens, the Moon card, and Bronwyn was the Star card. So yeah, that's the little family. But then we get to the next question that's like, what is this deck's gender? Does it have a gender? I say no. And that answers that. Next, most and least favorite cards. Oh, let me not put it away. My favorite card, here she is, the Priestess Caradwyn. I love this card. That's why I would love art of this in my home. I love this card. Look, she is one with nature. Like, this is kind of the epitome to me of, like, nature is my church, kind of. My least favorite card is the Ace of Wands. It's just boring. It was hard picking my least favorite because there's also the Eight of Wands because in general that tends to be my least favorite card in any RWS or Waitsmith tarot deck, but this one is slightly less lazy in my eyes, so. But yeah, this is not lazy, it's just meh. The aces really threw me off for a long time because it's just these disembodied hands holding a sign of the suit, the element, and that does nothing for me. That image tells me nothing. So imagine how I felt back then. Okay. Next prompt. Does any card remind me of someone and who? I was going to say no, but Queen of Wands reminds me of my mother. And like warm but stern, creative but also like kind of fun. And yeah. What card in this deck do I feel most represents me right now? Okay, so I actually had shuffled and pulled this card. Where is she? The Three of Pentacles. And I guess thinking about it, it fit because at the time I was sitting and doing this task. I was not outside, but I was sitting, I was comfortable, I was still in my pajamas, sitting at the table, just, writing and looking through the cards, and it was kind of a fun, creative task. Not in a, I'm creating something, but like I'm learning and using my brain in a sort of intuitive, but also creative thinking way. So that fit. What card has a unique spin on my regular opinion of that card? So this was the runner-up to my least favorite card because it's, like I said, for the Ace of Wands. In the Waitsmith version, it's just the 8 Wands sitting there. And since I don't get that card a lot, I didn't, for many, many years, know what the hell that was supposed to be. So then I finally read something from a more traditional deck, and I was like, swiftness where? This is a picture. There's nothing that implies movement. Image. And this, to a certain extent, does not have that either. But the deer are here, and at first glance, it seems ridiculous. But deers can be swift. They can react suddenly and quickly, and because they are prey animals and they know it, so they have to be alert and ready to go. And them being here does work in that sense. It gives, just them being on this card gives a little extra something to kickstart my brain to be like, oh, because looking at 8 sticks on a card does nothing for my intuition. Right. What card in this deck makes me laugh? So, not really, but I kind of chuckle sometimes. This card, the Four of Swords, is so dramatic. So dramatic. And then the guidebook, even most guidebooks for this card are like rest and relaxation. And I'm just like, she looked like she's asleep and somebody's trying to murder her. What is that? Is this like the lighter version of the Nine of Swords? It's just very dramatic to me. Like, man, you can, I don't know. Or is it a lesser version of the Sleepers, or both? And what card makes me feel seen or emotional? So I've got the Star and the Lovers here. The Star is Bronwyn, and if you know Bronwyn, her story is very sad and dramatic. And yet she kind of still has hope and goodness in her heart. Bronwyn she got used and abused, and her brothers and her husband did all kinds of foolishness and started wars and all of this. And yeah, Bronwyn's just like, I'm a good sister, I'm a good mother, I'm a good wife. What the hell? So I feel for Bronwyn. And then the Lovers here is the dream of Maxin. I think it's Uladig, and it's very dramatic, lovers type thing. I love this depiction of them, and this belongs in a movie scene, a historical movie, and you know, they work for me. And the angel just being a tapestry in the background, I much prefer. Last but not least, the red. Oh, sorry. What's the deck's favorite spread? This deck actually comes with 2 cards with spreads on them, and 2 choices. The red dragon spread is this one: to overcome an obstacle. And the first, I'll put some cards down and show you how it goes. The first card is to dream. The book. Make sure I'm still on camera. Here we go. Okay. The dream, your heart's desire, your companion or companions, the assistance you will receive, the journey, unfamiliar places you must go to realize the dream, magical gifts are new skills required for success. The enchantment, what is this? Hidden obstacles along the path. Are we still? Here we are. We still sort of kind of. Let me move these up then. And that makes it wider, which I don't particularly love, but we are tight here. Okay. And yeah, the dragon, what you must befriend, sacrifice, or defeat. And last but not least, the awakening, the final outcome of your efforts. So, tis a big spread that looks like a dragon. Oh, I could bring this down some more. This is the red dragon spread, and if you know anything about Wales, the red dragon is on their flag. The Welsh Cymru or Cymru. My Welsh pronunciation is not great. The Welsh Cymru, I believe it's how it is. I think, yeah. It's a red dragon. So overcoming an obstacle here is the favorite spread of this deck, and there's a whole card here to show you how to do it, which I appreciate. Not in the book though, but I like the spread being on the card. So yes, that is the one deck to rule them all. I'm going to do this at least one more time via video on camera because this deck is screaming for attention, and having answered or attempted to answer all of the questions here with a tarot deck, and knowing that many others did not answer every single question when they did theirs, I want to do this with one oracle deck, the deck that was screaming at me. And I will be working with that deck very soon, so why not start off with fun times. So guys, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you are new, hit the notification bell so you know when the next video is coming. And I guess I'll show you my spread real quick. You'll see this in my wrap up, but these are all of the questions. Yeah, guys, links in the description, like I said, to all the questions and to the deck. And you can buy this from Llewellyn. The links to my social media accounts if you like to follow me anywhere else, as well as links to my Etsy shop where I offer tarot and oracle readings, as well as make all natural bath and body products for witchy and mundane purposes. Guys, there's a 10% off discount code for that shop. If you are looking to buy, there is going to be a sale very soon. Very, very soon. So watch out, follow, or you'll miss it. Blink and you'll miss it. It'll be gone in a flash. And thank you as always for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.